now we have editors-in-chief of Neuropsychopharmacology, Tony and Lisa. Tony, are you with us?
Hamid, thank you again for organizing this. I have 2 slides. I'll be relatively brief, but like Hamid said, we had a meeting at Biological Psychiatry. And, you know, Hamid, it reminds me that that restaurant we had that meeting at was right next to San Diego Airport. And every minute there would be a plane that flew overhead. So I'm still traumatized by that. But nonetheless, we presented something like this at ACNP. And so here's essentially what I talked about. And because of this issue of adherence to, I would say, checklists in terms of complying to what we're looking for in our clinical studies, our clinical trials, we initiated a project about 2 years ago at NPP, just as and Lisa and I were taking over from Bill Carlazon as the co-principal editors of NPP. We decided to create a sort of adherence checklist project. And so we were noticing that people who submitted clinical trials or anything that was defined by NIH as a clinical trial were not adhering to basics like basic information, including registration, like clinicaltrials.gov, consort diagrams. So we said, we are going to make this proactively part of the process. We are going to have questions within the Springer Nature ECHAP system that prompt people, and they can ignore them. But we kind of want to see, if we do this sort of in a pre-post way, what kind of compliance with our system would there be? So prior to September 1st, 22, so yeah, about a year and a half we've done this project, we had about 50% compliance, and this was just looking at 70 clinical trial submissions in a 6-month period prior to that. Having said that, we've actually increased our clinical trial submissions from about 1/3 of all manuscripts. And, you know, NPP is both, it's psychiatric neuroscience, basic and clinical, but it had been about 2/3 basic, and now it's close to 50%. And we'd like to not only increase that, but make sure that we have people adhere to what we're looking for. So the actions we did is we updated the Springer Nature system called ECHAP to include a definition of a clinical trial and required authors to answer questions about whether their submitted manuscript met criteria for a clinical trial. We published an editorial about a year ago now. Sophia Hupalo was our NPP intern at the time, and she led this. And, you know, it talked about this issue of non-compliance and why we were looking to do this. And then, so September 1st, 22, these changes went into place. And I don't know if we can go to the next slide, the last slide. Okay, so there's the banner of the article, NPP's approach to improving rigor and transparency in clinical trials research. And so, you know, again, I said we wanted to make sure people added consort diagrams, consort checklists, and registered their trial. So we've made it now a requirement that any clinical trial study must be registered at either clinicaltrials.gov or a reasonable facsimile from around the world. So our question was, did our compliance rates go up after we implemented the project? And so the answer was a little bit, not really that much, 7.6%. And that was in 139 submissions. So this was 9/1/22 to just before the end of our reporting period last year, November 23. And so just in conclusion, this is a work in progress. We now track this annually, and we hope that, you know, this early effect, however slight, continues, but we still have a lot of work to do. And, you know, that's why I answered number 2 on your question, you know, and your theoretical question about NPP and adherence to checklists. So I like it. I'd like to say 1, but we're going gently, and here's part of the reason why. So we hope the numbers continue to grow up as we do this project going forward. So thank you.